So you are welcome, our dear viewers, to your favorite talk show. I mean, today we want to be discussing a very, very interesting topic. I've been preparing for this topic for months because it's something that really needs to be discussed. I'm Kofi, your host, and today we have Brian, we have Awo, and we have someone you are not familiar with, Naki. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Naki. I am 16 years of age and I'm a student of Ebrideo Senior High School.
Okay, that's very interesting. Today, our resource person is Uncle Sulu, and here's his profile.
Mr. Solomon Latte is the Chief Executive Officer and founder of African Sureties and Insurance Advisory Company Limited, ASIAC, an insurance-based risk management advisory, broking and consultancy firm. He is a board member and an executive director at Amena, based in France, and is currently also a board member and head of the audit committee of the member trustee board of the Enterprise Trustee Tier 2 pension scheme. Prior to founding ASIAC, Mr. Latte was the managing director, CEO of Altiva International Insurance Ghana. He is a chartered insurance practitioner and a former mortgage and insurance consultant with the Simple Group in Mitcham, United Kingdom. He also worked as an insurance and mortgage broker at Brooklands Financial Services, Wandsworth, London, an appointed representative of Mortgage Broking Services, MBSL, of Manchester, United Kingdom. Mr. Latte studied at the Accra Academy, from where he proceeded to study at the University of Ghana for his first degree and the Bradford University School of Management in the United Kingdom for his MBA. He is also a graduate of the Chartered Insurance Institute, CII, face-to-face training center in London, United Kingdom. Mr. Latte was adjudged General Insurance CEO of the Year at the 2019 Ghana Insurance Awards, which was organized by the Essados under the auspices of the Ghana Insurance Association, GIA. He won Insurance CEO of the Year at the 2018 Entrepreneurs and Corporate Executive Awards, which was organized by the Entrepreneurs Foundation of Ghana. Mr. Latte has served on several boards, including the Executive Committee of the ECOWAS Brown Card Scheme and a member of the Client Rescue Fund Committee of the National Insurance Commission and an Executive Committee member at Group Activa.
Hey, Uncle Sulu. So, according to your profile, I hear you're a very big man in insurance. I mean, what prompted you to get into insurance?
So when I was living in school, I wasn't privileged enough to be a doctor's son or a farmer's son. But I decided that I would prepare myself for opportunities. When I left university, I did the service, national service with the National Disaster Management Organization. I wasn't too happy because there wasn't much to be done. Then I heard that they were looking for people at Enterprise Insurance. So I went there and started as a dispatch rider with my degree, with a moto. I did that for some time and gradually went into the system to become an insurance person. So actually I think I stumbled into it. It wasn't what I really wanted.
Why you didn't study insurance?
No. I studied geography with economics. But later on, I took the insurance professionals and became a chartered. Now I'm a fellow of the Insurance Institute.
See, that's very interesting. I mean, I hope you being a fellow of the Insurance Institute will help you in the next activity because you're going to do a biblical who am I. And so, we're going to start with you. I want to give you the hardest question. Just, who am I? I was a great man, a king. But because of my pride, I believe myself worthy of worship. God worked through Daniel to make me see that I was lost. Because I saw God's power through his miracles, I began to worship him.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes, Nebuchadnezzar. Let's come to you. Who am I? I was a prophet. Not a prophet or prophet like the ones today, but a true prophet of the Lord. In my lifetime, I made both friends and enemies. One of my friends was a soldier I cured from leprosy. Although I was a staunch man of God, one who never strayed from the path, I gained staunch enemies among the lost because I delivered bad news to them. Jezebel was my worst opponent, and it caused me to such fear. I was translated to heaven and gave my mantle to someone whose name is similar to mine.
Elijah.
Elijah, that's correct. Brian, this one's for you. Who am I? I was a man of God, a Nazarite. Yet I allowed my carnal weaknesses, especially my love for unworthy women, to destroy me. He led me astray, so that I was lost to the Lord. I did find him again, even though I was blind by that time. I gave my life in destroying my enemies.
Hey.
So who is it? Strong, yes, Samson. Who am I, Naki? I was the best friend of a future link, much to my father's displeasure. Ultimately, I chose my friend over my father. Though I mourned when my father fell away from God, I chose to remain obedient to the Lord, and my best friend eventually became a king. Jonathan, that's correct. Who am I? Uncle Solo, the last one. Who am I? I was a lost sinner, but the Lord Jesus Christ saved me. I became one of his many female followers. Many other New Testament women share my first name, but I was always referred to as by two names.
Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene, that's correct. So that's a very interesting one. But before we get into anything, let me ask, what car are you looking at driving in the future?
So, either a Land Rover or a Mustang Dodge. A Dodge.
Mustang Dodge, I see. Brian, what car are you looking at? Tesla Model S, I see. Naki?
I never really thought about this, but if I get a Range Rover, I'll be fine.
I see. So what time are you looking at driving your Dodge Mustang Dodge?
I don't know. When I get a stable job, a high-paying stable job, then we'll look into that.
So there's no specific time frame.
No.
How about you, Brian?
First, I must get a good job, then at least to sleep because I'm not sleeping in the car. I must get like a house or something. I must get my own food so I can think of it.
So around what age do you think?
See,
30.
35.
I see.
Hey, wow.
Probably in the next 10 years.
In the next 10 years, I
Let's
see.
In that range.
I see. Uncle Stolo, what car did you aim of driving when you were young?
My first car was a Renault 21.
I see. But which one did you really like to drive when you were younger?
I didn't think about it at
Really?
all.
There was no this car that you looked at and say, I want to drive one of these.
I always manage my expectations.
I see. But is there anything wrong with having a car that you want to drive, or having big dreams? I want to be this, I want to be that, or I want to have this, I want to have that. Is there anything particular wrong with that?
For me, I don't think there is anything wrong with that. It's about dreams. And there's nothing wrong with having a dream or a vision of where you want to be. My thinking is that I would like to become something before I think of the claddings that go with it. So I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, I want to be an insurance professional, I want to be a banker before I start thinking of the other things that go with it. And those are the cars and the houses and stuff like that. But the vision for me is to become something first.
I see. That's a very interesting perspective. But so, I will aside driving the I don't know how to the Mustang Dodge. What else are you doing? So, what else do you want to be?
I want to be a therapist.
A therapist. Why therapist?
I mean, I've already been giving advice to my friends. I might as well just get paid for it when I grow up.
I see. But have you ever met someone who told you that you can't do what you want to be? Have you ever met someone who discouraged you in your dreams?
No.
Everybody's always encouraging. But is there anything wrong with being realistic in your dreams? Like, that it might be improbable. Is there anything wrong with being realistic, or is pessimism? I mean, Maki, what do you think?
What do you mean by being realistic?
Like, you want to become a neurosurgeon, but you know that your parents cannot afford to take you to that school. So, is it bad to defer your dreams, or you must always pursue it because that's what you want to do?
I think you should pursue it because Ben Carson grew up in a very, I would say poor, but they were not well to do. But then look at where he is now because he worked very hard. So opportunities may come, you may never know. So just pursue it. You can be realistic, but just keep on pursuing your dreams.
Okay, I see. What do you think? Is it okay to put up dreams because they seem impossible? Like you want to be an engineer, but your physics are getting C's. Is it still good to pursue the dream of becoming an engineer? Or
I mean, if you really want to do it and you put your mind to it, of course you can do it. So there's nothing impossible. It's just that you are limiting yourself on what you want to do. So if you really want to do it, you can do it.
I see. In the lines of dreams and all these things, I don't know. Of late, they've been saying we the young people would like to get rich too quickly. I heard someone say that these small boys, they just started like they want to drive a Benz. I mean, so is it true that our generation likes things quickly, get rich quick schemes? Is it true, Brian?
Yes, it's true because youth of today, they get money through dubious means. Some bet, some stake lotto. They are just trying to get money. They just want to satisfy their wants.
I see. Naki, do you think it's true that we like quick things, quick fixes?
Oh yeah, it's true. Because nowadays, when you check someone's status, it's money. They are posting money. Someone's Instagram story, money. Everybody wants money, but they don't want to work. Because we are very lazy. I'm not going to lie. Very, very lazy. We don't want to work, but we want the money. So, everybody wants money. So,
Yes, including
yes,
you.
I want.
But
If you
in
give
that
me, I'll
light,
take.
last week I think a story came up about two 16 and 17-year-old boys who killed a 10-year-old or 11-year-old for rituals. I mean, what was your first reaction when you heard this story? I mean, Uncle Solo, what was your first reaction?
For me,
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was surprised, I was shocked, I was angry, I was sad because I thought they were too young to kill somebody for that. Then I heard that they watched TV and saw some miracle working people promising to make people rich overnight, and because of that, they followed up and this happened. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's an unfortunate thing to happen. But I would have loved to hear from you what you think about that. Do you guys identify with that? Do you really want to be rich within a short time? Like you mentioned, you want to drive Mustangs and Teslas and Range Rovers. And I like the question you asked about when. And some gave 10 years, others when they started working and all that. So that is a good thing. But what they didn't say is how to get there. Okay, I would have loved to hear you say, oh, but first of all, I'll go through my studies, make sure I get good grades at this stage. I'll continue to do my first degree, do my MBA or something, a professional, the way to get there. If we discuss that and we know that there's a way to go through it and get there, then we are answering the question of whether those guys did the right thing or they were too much in a haste to get rich.
I mean, why would they want to get? Why would you want to kill somebody for money? I mean, what could make someone kill another person for money?
I don't know what really went into their mind, but children of this age thinking about murder, then the next thing is what you do. Just can't think far.
But from your point of view, why would they want to kill somebody for money? I mean, why?
They want to get rich, and maybe that's the only way that they solve it. Like maybe school didn't come to mind. I don't know what is in their brain, but maybe school didn't come to mind. So, yeah.
So money. I mean, they want to get money and do what? And like you, do what with that money?
Hey,
What do you see the people on
wait,
the TV
if you get
doing
money,
with that
like
money?
you don't like just the thought of having money is comforting. Like I have money, like it's
How is it comforting?
like if you don't have money but you need something, your mind will be like you know, you can't sleep, like, oh, I need the money, like you'll be, but when you have the money, if a need arises right now, you have the money to spend. But then when you don't have the money, like you're now going to look for ways to get the money, whether this company will employ you or it's like that. So
But do you think these social media celebrities have a part to play?
Yeah.
How, to what extent do they have a part to play?
Because I'm not saying that you should not be living your life and all those things. Like if you have the money and you're living like that's cool. But like I feel like when you go on social media, you see all these things and like you're like, oh, I also want to do it. I also want to get rich. I also want to do that. So yes, they are kind of playing a part in it because you're always influenced like, oh, I want money and I want this and I want that. But you never ever think, oh, how can I get there? You're always just thinking, I want it.
So, Brian, do you also think the social media people play a part?
They have a high influence on us because mostly the music you listen to and stuff, it's talking about hustling, getting money quick. Some talk about betting, some talk about giving your life to the devil and stuff. And that's what it just bringing people's minds to that.
I see. So what does the Bible say about gaining money through dubious means?
Before we go to I'd like to comment on social media. I think your question was on motivation. What motivated them to do that? One of them is social media. But mainstream media is also part of the problem. Because from the interviews, we heard that some of them watched TV and they saw people promising wealth. And so they went on to do this. And then there's the religious organizations. Pastors every day preaching only about wealth. And you become this, and you get that, and you get this, and you get that. So people think that everybody should be rich. It doesn't matter how you get there, you should be rich. 3, social media. You have a lot of celebrities coming out. You have those you call, there's a term for those
Influencers.
No, not the influencers, the ladies.
Slay queens.
Slay queens.
hey.
You don't know how they come by their money and they are driving Range Rovers.
I don't really think we want to go into that.
Living in big houses. Everybody wants to do that. You watch these music videos and you see people with big chains driving big cars. Everybody knows how those things happen. So young people watch these things and they feel like, well, I can also get this. Then they watch mainstream TV and there's a juju man on TV who says, oh, I can help you get these things. So you go through a process and you want to get it. So that's what they did. And I think that is basically the source of the problem.
So you mentioned something about pastors preaching well. Are you suggesting that some people are meant to be poor, while some people are meant to be rich?
You being the head and not the tail. But there's a caveat. The caveat is that if you abide by my commandments, then I'll give you all these things. If you read further, it tells you if you refuse to abide by my commandments, there are a string of curses that comes to you. So God really wants us to do well. And if we call ourselves children of God or Christians, then it means that we have to allow ourselves to be led within the confines, within the commandments of God, and walk in His ways, and we will make it. So there's nothing wrong with dreaming big. There's nothing wrong with wanting to drive a Tesla or a Mustang or a Range Rover. In fact, I want to drive a Range Rover myself. But it's important to work towards it. Walk in righteousness, and if it is God's will, you will get it.
Okay. So now that we've established a biblical basis for our conversation or our discussion, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go way, way further. Stay tuned. You're welcome from the break. And so, just before we went, we established a biblical basis for our conversation. Now, the main question I want to ask is that, what are some of the consequences of what are some of the consequences of engaging in these ritualist acts?
It's just, okay, for me, it's just not morally right. And also, I feel like if you want to get rich, and like, let's say you get rich, in the future somebody finds out about what you're doing, will it really be worth it all? And if like you get exposed, will it be worth it all? Yeah.
So your conscience, would worry.
It's not morally right, and also you can come back to haunt you. I don't want to say come back because like I don't believe in that stuff, but like yeah, to come back to you.
And like what are some of the consequences of such stuff?
Maybe when you get the money, there's satisfaction you thought you would feel. You wouldn't feel it because, as Uncle Solo said earlier, there are some people who were rich, they were very, very rich, but they died unhappy. So I feel like maybe the satisfaction you were looking for, you won't get it. And I also said, it's not,
killing
like
someone,
you walk in the community and like people know you as the guy who went to kill this house, gets money. Like they will not respect you for the money you have. Yeah.
Right.
Just building up on what she said, like everybody will get a bad perception about you. You have a bad name. Your life will be destroyed if fortunately for you, you come back from jail. You will not have any job to do because everyone knows you as this person. So you can come and
Kill them.
how will I say it? You can come and bring down the image of my company, something like so. You will have nowhere to go to. You just be alone. Then the money you wanted to get, where is it now?
I see. Uncle Solo, I meant all this. Are there any more consequences? I mean, after all these crimes, what a talk there? What a talk with the other consequences?
I don't want to say this, but I'll say it. There are people who do get away. Okay, there are people who have done terrible things, made money, and they are still there. They are rich. So occasionally they can come and do some donation to a church or a school or something. So society sees them as good people. But the way they got the money is up to them. So I like what I was said from the beginning. It's a moral issue. And what they added, where do you really want to be at the end of the day? Because the saddest part of it is that when you die, you go with nothing. You leave with nothing. So why would you want to go and kill somebody to make money? or steal from the people to make money, at the end of the day, a time will come when you can't even lift your hand or your leg to get into that Mustang that you want to buy, or that Range Rover, or that Tesla, and drive it. You are there, you can't use it. So what's the point? The most important thing in life is about impact. Having the right impact on society and the people around you. So if you cannot do that at the end of your life, that is where failure and conscience comes. If you know within your mind that you have failed, even though you have everything, people see you as a big man. But when you enter into your closet, you are alone. Okay, so the most important thing, like I said, is, of course, if you're a child of God, then you focus on the purpose for which Christ brought you onto this earth. The Lord made you, and live your life accordingly.
So, amidst all these consequences, there are some myths, associated with these, how do you call it, ritualists. What are some of the myths you've heard about these ritualists?
Wait, I watched a movie about it actually. So I think the guy had to kill somebody that he like got admitted into this cult thing. And he had to, I think every year or something, he had to kill somebody that he really loved. Last year he killed his, like it's not real life, but like in the movie, he killed his daughter, and she came back to like haunt him, like ghosts are not real, but like she came back to haunt him in the movie, and he eventually ended up doing suicide. So it's kind of, yeah.
So, Naki, what are some of the myths you've heard about these juju men and stuff?
Oh, yeah, I know. I have heard that.
You know,
I know.
You get scared of the
experience.
Hello, hey. When you watch the movies and you don't meet their conditions, how you go mad. They'll just say something, some language,
How true are these? How true is this?
I don't know, but I've seen it.
I've seen a video, a real life video of a boy who engaged in Sakawa.
Yes.
And then he ended up being handcuffed to the tire of the car because he was just barking like a dog and vomiting blood.
Yeah. I saw a video recently where a lady was with a guy in the car. I think it was your favorite car, the Range Rover. and the guy just came out of the car and started shouting, I won't go again, I won't do it again. I've had enough. Started taking off his clothes. And the lady was begging him, please, and now he's telling him, I'm all hey, catch him. When people caught him, put him down, wrapped him, put him in the car and drove him away. So there are consequences, apart from the legal or social consequences you mentioned. Spiritually, there are consequences. You can't go to those evil forces to get things for free. They don't give a free lunch.
So you're not really myths.
Trust me, they take something from you. So why would you want to do that? Why don't you allow God to lead you and you become what He wants you to be?
Seems like I want something to say.
Okay, so I don't know if to count this as juju or any of those things, but I'm reading this book right now, and it's about a girl who wanted more than her village life. So she decided to pray to God, and while she was doing that, her friend advised her that don't pray to the gods after dark. No, don't pray to the gods who answer after dark. And she was going to, her family forced her to go and get married or something, and she was trying to escape, and she was praying to the gods. But very soon it just turned dark, and somebody came to answer her. And she was like, oh, I want this. And I was like, okay, yeah, you want this, but what will you give me in return? And she wanted to give him something that was so precious to her, but she's like, I don't want that. And then she finally said, oh, I'll give you my life or something like that. So she ended up getting what she wanted, but now she's immortal. And every time somebody turns away from her, they won't remember her. So technically, she was forgotten by everybody. She can't really leave a mark on the world, but she's immortal, doomed to roam the earth alone.
So
Yeah.
See, that illustrates that it's not really a free lunch. But how about we always perceive? I don't know. Movies always portray these guys with Rasta, and I'm not sure about Rasta, but with weird appearances. I mean, is that also a myth that all these people look weird. I mean, now some of them are not the Rasta. I mean, some of them can be like, I was sitting here and you wouldn't even know. I mean, is that something that we often forget? I mean, Brian, what do you think?
What I hear is that they normally do Rasta so they can easily get their DNA sample. That's what I've heard before. That was, I think, 3 years or so ago. I heard it from my friend. So maybe we can identify them through that way. But amongst us, there are a lot of people who are doing these things amongst us who look as good people, but in them, they know what they've done.
I see. So it's not always the hideous looking guys that are the ritualists, but some people might look as nice as I and yet.
Or you.
and yet be engaged in ritualism. But here's a story from a friend, Akosia. Akosia says she has this classmate who, or two of them, they're holding very nice phones. Recently they got a latest version of the iPhone. These people don't look like people who can really be buying iPhones. And one day she saw them wearing a ring, and the next day with a red flag. I mean, if you are like Akosia and you have a story like this, please feel free to share it to a number. But back to Akosia's story. The ring and the flag. So then obviously it leads to something like a court, and I don't know. So she was wondering, how does she help these friends, or how does she even approach them? I mean, if you had friends who all of a sudden they become rich, you notice a ring and a red flag. I mean, you can't be sure they got it from a ritualist, but how do you approach them?
Okay, so first I'll ask them, right? And if they say anything like that, I'll immediately, and I mean immediately, disassociate myself from them.
You don't help them?
Oh, this one, dear. Okay, maybe I might help you like anonymously or something, but listen, I'm not trying to get spiritually into some war or something. I want to be peaceful. Don't come and bring these things on me. Like, I've seen the movies, so like I've seen the movies. Maybe it might not be real, but if it's close to something like that, I don't want to be involved in that, even though you're my friend.
I see.
Maybe I'll try and help you anonymously or something, but apart from that, I can't help you. I'll pray for you or something, but that's it.
Naki, how do you approach them?
Yeah, me first of all, I'll pray for you, Charlie. Like me now, I'm scared. Me like I'll not like me, I'm scared. So first I'll pray for you, and I'll be like, hey, Charlie, your phone is nice. So where do you get it? Are you me and you know say the two of us will be broke. So the money like, and then they'll say, oh, this one. And I'll be like, hey, sis, then maybe preach the Bible small, like
Is she listening to you?
Oh, if me, God knows I've done my part. If you don't listen to me, I don't want to see your face.
Right.
Me, if you do those things, me and you, like this and this.
Social distance.
Social distancing.
I think I
But before we get into that kind of distant relationship, I'll first introduce you to a pastor or someone I trust, an adult I can trust, to take you through the Bible and stuff, to tell you the consequences of what you are doing and how far you are getting away from God.
I see. Uncle, so is it right to disassociate yourself from them completely?
Of course, why not? So you shouldn't fight battles that you're not sure you can win. So it's okay to dissociate yourself. But I like what Brian also said, that he would introduce the person to someone. Sometimes young people make lots of mistakes because they don't know. They don't have a mentor. Some don't even get the opportunity to watch shows like this where things like this are being discussed. So if there's a way you can introduce them to someone to help them. Because I know people who've tried to help people and they themselves have been drowning. Because those people who carry these things, sometimes they are looking for more people, they are looking for disciples. So they show them phones, they say, oh, if you want to have this, come and let's go and see this guy. You know, that kind of thing. And then they are spreading their message. So I agree that once you see that, even if you can draw, once they confide in you, if you can draw the attention of your chaplain or anybody or your counselor, whoever, who would tactfully approach them, it will help.
Okay, but you said they are looking to lure people into their circle. So what are some of the ways, going to the week, what are some of the ways we can avoid getting into their circles?
The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. You are a Christian, you are a Seventh-day Adventist, you come to church, attend church Bible studies. I go to midweek prayer service. Sabbath, when you come to church, stay and listen to what they are teaching. Study your Sabbath school. You will know. But if you don't, you come to church and you take things for granted, you don't study. When these things come, you are not ready. So you wouldn't know. That is the first thing you do. Beyond that, you see, anything that you always have to do in the dark or to hide and do, things you cannot discuss openly with your parents or with your family, is a problem. So once you sense some of these things coming around you, discuss with an adult or somebody else, or somebody you can trust, or your parents if you like, and then they will help you out of it. But the most important thing as a child of God is to study the Word of God.
Study to show yourself approved. Does anyone have any suggestions on how to avoid some of these people? Right.
How to avoid them? Because they are your friends, when they see you avoiding them, you tend to know that there's something wrong. When you are,
not in Akosha's case, but these general cults and grandmasters. How do you avoid them?
How do I avoid them? Honestly, I'm not in such case, so it's difficult to identify some of
I
them.
find that the best way to get out of these situations is to be blunt.
Yeah.
Just be blunt with them. I don't want to be part of whatever you're doing. Please stay away from me. That's it.
That's when the
Just
person
keep
wants
it
to
short
come
and
bring you.
simple.
Yeah, I think you should be very vigilant. When I was growing up, I had this encounter with a certain organization that was sending us books. They started sending me Bibles. I got the Bible. They sent me some books to read. I saw that the content of those books were faulty. Then they said there was a certain book, 6th and 7th book of Moses. It's a master book that when they send you, you can do so many things with it. That was the first red flag. Okay? So I started cutting ties with them. There was a friend who went all the way, got all those things. Now he's crazy. I don't know what happened to him, but the last time I saw him, it wasn't normal. It's crazy. So you have to. That's why I said study to show yourself approved. You see the signs, then you move away from it.
I see. That's very enriching. I'm sure I really enjoyed today's show. It was very important we speak about this topic. Kindly share it with your friends. We stream live on Facebook and YouTube. So share the link with your friends to watch and enjoy our show. But I'm sure you've been blessed. And until next week, stay home and stay safe. Wear a mask and also stay blessed. God be with you. Thank you.